Let's talk about walking people through this roller coaster of ups and downs and turns and wazzies and woozies and interlocking loops, right?
It's an emotional ride.
Moving is like a top 5 life stressor, right? With like divorce and job loss and death and marriage, maybe. I don't know, if you marry the wrong person, thank God I didn't. Moving's a big deal, and then building is an even bigger deal in terms of stressors. So like, it kind of starts off, you're dreaming in bed and get all those like little dopamine hits of like, we're gonna have, I don't know, what were you dreaming of when we started building?
Oh man, we could have a sauna, we could have waterfront property on 10 acres and chickens and ducks.
In-ground pool, big back porches.
Gold toilets, why not?
THX certified digital surround sound, which actually we did pull that off.
We did, yep. A second kitchen, like when your guests come, they don't see your messy kitchen.
See, she's not telling you the truth. She wants a second kitchen because she wants a house manager. You've been out.
There's a dreaming phase, and that's like a lot of fun. You're like getting ready to get on. It's almost like the waiting line where you're like getting excited about what is this roller coaster gonna be like? And then, you know, reality hits a little bit and you see how long the line is, and you're just waiting and waiting and waiting until you like meet with a builder and get like a little dose of reality of maybe I don't get to have my house manager in the second kitchen. Maybe I'm the house manager in my kitchen. Just joking.
Just for now, honey, I'm working on it.
You know, you meet with the builder and you actually realize that maybe you can't afford your absolute 100% dream of a home. And so you have to, you know, a little dose of reality there and come back to the drawing board. And that's okay because, you know, we had to do this too every time we built personally. And then prioritize what is important for you to have and what are the fun things that you can have too. You want to leave room for that because you're building a custom home and that's like the whole point, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I think one of the first things you can do is start to establish some constants, right? I mean, everything is possible when you're just dreaming and writing on a piece of paper and laying in bed and just saying whatever comes to your mind. But the first couple of things that you can establish as sort of constants are your budget, right? Getting with a lender and actually figuring out what's either your maximum spending allowance or your maximum comfortable spending allowance. And that's where we always encourage people to stay because there's no utility in overspending and then just being stressed in this beautiful home. Like it's almost counterproductive to what we're trying to do, which is help people live more inspired lives through loving where they live. But it's hard to be inspired if you're just under immense financial strain, right? So like starting with a loan is a good place. And then maybe with the house, I don't know, what are your thoughts on kind of starting with loan and house plan?
And then land. If you don't own land, then you know what portion of your budget you have to go for land. So then, you know, budget, house, land for sure. Obviously you have to get with the lender and move that lending process forward. And that can be excruciating at times. If you've ever gotten a loan, that just is.
Yeah, it's bad. I mean, they're going to want every receipt for every piece of bubble gum you bought since like 2012. But it's part of the process, and that's part of the upward tick of the roller coaster, right? The building the anticipation. It's kind of annoying. You're sitting there waiting. This is ridiculous. They keep asking for more docs, but it's helpful, right? Because on the other side of that upper track is like, hey, you have your budget, right? And so there's your first little like, okay, boom, stress relief. All right. Got our budget established, got our loan type. You know, if you're in the military, maybe it's a VA loan. If you have some money to put down, maybe it's a conventional loan. If you want to build custom ground up, it might be a construction of perm loan. But knowing what type of loan, how much money you need to bring to the table is going to help you a lot guide the best purchase decision that you can, right? Because you want to get the most house you can for the available dollars that you have to spend and invest.
Then I think the next like waiting period or that like uptick moment in the roller coaster where you're just kind of waiting for that next fun mountain curve would be just the permit process. Just like waiting and waiting and waiting. Like it doesn't look like anything's happening because the builder is working behind the scenes with the city to get everything approved. And then, you know, you're at that mountain there and you get the building permit. And now it's time to like write it down. And it's another one of those exciting
relief. Yeah, for sure. And something that we do as a company, and if you're not building with us, hopefully you're a builder, this is something to ask, is just what's the regularity of communication? Like how does communication occur? How often and with whom? Because in the absence of information, it's really easy to let your mind run and get anxious or think that things aren't moving forward. Most builders are just as incentivized and motivated to move the project forward as you are, but they may not communicate it just because it's not necessarily a value to other builders or to companies in general. I mean, a lot of times they just, once you sign the contract, they bounce and it's like, see you at framing walkthrough or see you at closing. Not the way we handle our business. We're in communication weekly with all of our clients and sometimes more than that. But it's just something to keep in mind within the context of like, how do you manage the emotional roller coaster is know upfront and ask those questions about who's going to be communicating, when they're going to be communicating, and how often. Yeah. So that's a big deal.
So if we're hopping back on the roller coaster train, so we just got the building permit, and now what's next? Is it a
train or is it a roller?
It's a roller coaster, yeah.
Okay. I was thinking a roller coaster train sounds pretty cool.
It does sound fun. I don't know if they exist, but...
What's next? I'm sorry, I don't mean to distract.
No, I'd say the next thing there would be like, boom, you get to break ground. So maybe that's one of those like blues, right? Because like something's going on.
Yeah.
And that's exciting. Break ground, you've got the foundation going on, and like almost immediately after, so maybe it's a double loop because they're going to start framing the house.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we can pour a foundation, we're framing 2-3 weeks later. It's true. So those are big wins.
Right. Choo-choo.
Kodak moments, social media, bring the kids, take the selfie, Tag 757 Building Company, and the Beasley Real Estate Group.
All of those fun things. That's also like practical or like heartwarming part of that process would be like, it's a great opportunity there to like at your framing walkthrough to bring a Sharpie and write your family motto on the framing, or write some scripture verses, or like even just sign your names. Just know that like you're really personalizing that home behind the walls.
Yeah, no doubt. And like on the practical side, like that's managing emotions is good too. Executionally, making sure that your building plans are really tight and your project manager and or the builder, whoever's on site managing subs and making sure things are getting done the way they're supposed to get done. That framing walkthrough is like a big deal, because if you've done any extra outlets, or like that you want a charging station in the middle of the living room, or you're hanging a TV on the back porch, or whatever it is, that's the time to make sure that all of that stuff's happening before drywall goes up. So like the more effective your plans and the more effective your project manager is, the better the process is going to be, and the less stressful it's going to be when you have to go make changes later because people aren't paying attention to your house. So yeah, the efficacy of the organization you're working with definitely can bring those stress levels down.
And then, after every single like drop, you have to sit on that uptick again. And when you're going up, ready for that next hill, that's probably the time where like all of the mechanicals are going into the home. So, everything that goes on behind the walls after you've done your framing walkthrough probably would be, electrical lines, AV lines, HVAC, plumbing, all the stuff that's really important to have, but it's kind of boring because it's not pretty.
Mechanical rough ends is what they call it in the biz, Rachel.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Builder. So then, you're getting up that hill, and then the next like super fun thing to see is drywall, right?
Yeah, definitely gives dimension to the house. There's always this weird dynamic until there's walls up. People think the home is smaller. I don't know what it is. It tricked us both times we built our homes. It tricks all of our clients, especially even at the beginning. They come on the foundation and the walls aren't up, and they're like, "Oh, this is the wrong home. It's too small." Like, I promise you, it's not. Pull a tape measure, compared to the plans. It's right. Trust me. You don't get inspections off if you build the wrong house. Like, they don't let you build the wrong house. Once drywall goes up, you actually start seeing the space come to life a little bit. Doesn't have personality yet, but it is starting to come to life, and you can start envisioning where your furniture is going, and the house begins to take a little shape. Right. It's a cool moment.
That is a cool moment. It is like riding a roller coaster, because you have these exciting moments and you have twists and turns, and like sometimes a left turn might happen and there's a delay in delivery for materials or something. Like your appliances are on back order, and like, crap, well, you can't do this without that, and now things are on hold. And that would be like one of those like moments where you truly are riding a roller coaster. And you know what? Like, we know it sucks for you, but as a builder, we're on that roller coaster with you. Like, it's not fun for the builder either when things are delayed, because we want to keep things moving forward for you. And so it's like, we're all in this together.
Yeah, another practical term, thanks for bringing that up, is like a practical concept would be, do not go get a place to live that's like a week farther out than your contract close date. So like, let's say you sign a contract and the delivery date of your home is like June, and then you go get a lease till like August or July 1st. Don't do that, because you're probably going to end up living with like family members that you don't want to live with, and then you're just going to hate life and you're going to hate your builder. Give yourself a good 2 or 3 months after the contract date, because delays just can happen. The contract actually includes like acts of God, and most new construction purchase agreement to actually give the builder a year to build a home, because it is understood in the industry that delays happen. Inspections can take longer than you think. County inspectors can decide not to show up that day and then take a 4-day weekend and they kick your inspection the next week. There's nothing a builder can do about that. If an inspector just decides to delay the inspection by 4 or 5 days, guess what's not getting done for the next 4 or 5 days? Any work on that home. Rain delays can kill you until a home is dried in. Material delays, good Lord, think about COVID. We had houses, lumber packages that were on 3-month back order during COVID. There's nothing a builder can do about that. So be kind to your future self and take into account the fact that delays can and will happen. And it behooves you and your family to be prepared and build in some cushion so that you're not putting yourself and your family in a really uncomfortable or compromised position, because it's just stuff happens, man. Go to the wisdom of Forrest Gump. Shit happens, right? Little yellow shirt with the smiley face. Dylan, hit that for me.
Whoa, man, you just ran through a big pile of dog shit.
It happens.
What, shit?
Sometimes.
So, I mean, at that point, drywall's in, cabinets are in, you know, the builder's starting to like put everything together, your flooring goes in. All of those things are like really fun little like ups and downs there to see the progress. And at that point, probably your next like waiting zone is the final inspection.
Totally. The house will get 99% done, and then it's gonna be like another 3 or 4 weeks, and you're gonna be like, why can't I move in? And your builder's gonna be like, because I have to get 7 inspections off in the next 3 weeks to include utilities and all of the trades, and then a final inspection. And then once we get the final inspection, we have to apply for a CO. And then they come back and look at everything one last time. And so, you know, the house comes together pretty quickly those last few weeks, but no one's moving in until the county blesses it with a certificate of occupancy.
So
and that's
true.
like the last little waiting game.
It is.
And it's always painstaking because you've been waiting 7 months and the house is just like,
And it looks done.
it's there. Why can't I move in? Because it's illegal to do so.
The city will kick you out. And that sucks even more. Well, I mean, that's it. We got the CO. So it's like, woohoo, you can move in. And now you're like, all right, so the roller coaster ride is over. You're starting to coast into the station, get off the ride, high five each other because you made it this far. You know, shaking, hopefully you're hugging your builder. I love hugs. And, you know, doing selfies and all the social media posts. We love our home and we love our builder tag us, yay. That's it, like that's the moment. That's the moment you've been waiting for, is for like keys in hand and you get to move in and take a breather. Maybe let your heart rate go down because you were on a roller coaster ride for 10 months.
Yeah, the cool thing is we can assure you with 100% hindsight perspective, everyone that's ever built with us was thankful that they stuck it out and finished the process. Never had one client be like, it wasn't worth it. Not one time. It's a really intense process. It's not easy, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
And so that's why we got into building, because we thoroughly enjoy walking people through this roller coaster to help them live more inspired lives. So any final thoughts?
No, I think that nails it. We're 757 Building Company.
Building lasting relationships and crafting forever homes. That's the 757 way.
See you later, guys.
Till next week.
Yep.
Peace. Yeah, you should be prepared for that. Jonathan, anything else?
Well, you can't read my mind, but I'm handing it over to you.
It's like such an abrupt stop. There's like, well, back to you.
Okay.
Feel free to throw in.
Not even sure what to
There's
do
some good, what's it called? Outtakes.